I got a specific one for you about playing at Memphis, the game you're going to do there. We've gone from teams having the secret scrimmages and everything else. Now you're playing a scrimmage, just going for charity. Kind of what appealed to you about doing an event like that and linking up with Memphis like you're doing?
Well, I mean, I think a couple things. One, teaming up with Penny. We've had a long relationship, obviously playing against each other in the NBA, and so being able to, we have a friendship and, just talking in terms of when we were together and recruiting, and we talked about the possibility of us playing together, and we both really liked the idea. Obviously, competing against a great team and program of Memphis early in the season to prepare us and get us ready for the upcoming season. It's something that is really beneficial to us. And so we're really excited about the opportunity to do that, but also to serve St. Jude's Hospital. Obviously, it centers around, pediatric cancers and diseases. But that's dear to me with the experience of my mom passing away of cancer. And so to be able to play against each other and compete, but be able to serve together was something that was a no-brainer for both of us. And I'm really excited about the opportunity.
We haven't had a chance to talk to you for quite a while. Go back to spring.
You can call me.
Steve, I'll have to go.
Yeah, you're debatable.
I
can take
If you text me, I'll text you back. If you call, I won't pick it up.
Just call me back.
Yeah,
You got one time.
I did.
In the spring, when you were looking to replenish the roster and looking for big guys, what are some of the challenges that you went through with the varying big guys that were out there? They're taking a lot of visits, and some have their hand out for a little bit more than others, and building enough of a relationship to get a feel for a guy during that process. What were the biggest challenges?
I wouldn't consider them challenges. Obviously in recruiting, whether it's high school or the transfer portal, you're looking to check two boxes, a want and a need. And once you find people that check those boxes in terms of want and need, then, it's developing a relationship and finding out if it's the right fit, not only for our team, but for our program. And so attacking the transfer portal is nothing different than recruiting high school kids. It's checking those two boxes, understanding what we want and what we need, and does it fit in what we're trying to do as a team in terms of the specific team upcoming year and also our program.
And you got Lubin back in the spring. What are some of the things that jumped out at you about his game that you thought would fit?
His versatility, his ability to rebound, defend. He can guard the post. He can guard guards out on the perimeter. His versatility on the offensive end, getting to the offensive glass, running in transition. His ability to shoot the ball from the outside, but also handle and make plays from the perimeter. Being able to score in the post, despite, he's not as tall as Armando, but just his ability to be able to finish around the basket. That type of versatility was something that all of us were looking for, and we feel like we got in Vin.
Obviously, Armando has been a staple in the front court for a long time.
For a decade.
Yeah. The front court has been sort of remade with Ben Allen and Ty Clark and some of the other guys who you've brought in. Just sort of generally, how do you feel about the state of the front court? Maybe that there's some different things you can do this year with some of the new personnel.
Yeah, the foundation of the way that we want to play, that will never change. Obviously, and I've talked at great length that the most important thing for us in determining the outcome of a game is rebounding. So it doesn't matter who we have. We're going to box out and rebound, and if you don't go to the offensive glass, you're not going to play for me. Just the benefit of us being a good defensive team. Last year we were a really good defensive team, and so in order for us to get stops, that allows us to get out in transition and run like we did last year, and that was really good for us. From an offensive standpoint and just our pace. And so I've always said I want to dominate points of the paint through post penetration and offensive rebounding. And it doesn't matter if we have 5 guys that look like me, that's what we're going to do. And so, but there's also, at times, according to personnel, you've got to tweak, you got to pivot, you got to alter and change. Armando was one of one. And so, people would ask, how do you replace Armando? You can't replace a one-of-one. And so this group is going to have to rebound. We're going to have to dominate points in the paint, maybe a little bit differently than the way that maybe Armando did. But we have the personnel to be able to do that, whether it's in the front court or the back court. And I'm really excited about, the tweaks and the pivots and the ways that we can change and still doing what we want to do is to still live in the paint, live at the free throw line, and attack the basket.
With R.J. Davis, obviously one of the best players in the country, but how do you expect him to be even better this year than he was? What would you like to see to make him a better player this year?
Well, I mean, I'd be okay if he had the same type of year that he had last year. So I'd be okay with that. Last year, it was historic. It wasn't a good or great year. It was a historic year. And him coming back, obviously, you want him to do the same things that he did last year. He did so much for us. But his, leadership role has just been off the chart. It's been really nice to see the progression of him in terms of maturity and feeling comfortable to be that type of leader within his own personality. And, I've always said that I was so fortunate as a freshman to have a Jeff Lebo and a Steve Bucknell that could teach me how to prepare, how to practice, how to play the right way to put me in a position to be successful. And now RJ has that, with Drake, with Ian, with James Brown, with Cade, with Vin. And so continuing to do the same things that he did, because I thought he was an excellent defensive player. RJ was last year, and just his growth from a leadership standpoint, it has been huge, and I'd like him to continue that, and he has already this year.
Hubert, in terms of your pace,
Yeah.
as you mentioned with the Armando answer, I mean, it sounds like you want these guys playing faster than they've ever played before.
I do.
What does that look like right now in the preseason in terms of what you're asking them to do in practice? what
We're
you're
not
telling-
there yet.
What the message is, just like how are you going about making that happen, I guess?
Well, I've been straightforward and direct that I want to be the fastest team in the country from free throw line to free throw line. And in order to do that, you've got to be in the best shape of your life. And there needs to be a full commitment in regards to how we're going to play that way. And so if you're not in the best shape of your life, you're not going to play. If you don't sprint to the offensive end, we're not going to play. If you don't sprint back defensively, you're not in the best shape of your life. You're just not going to play. And so I think we have the personnel that can really take advantage of early offense with our pace, with our speed, with our athleticism, with our versatility. And so I think it's something that's really good with this team. And so we talk about it. You guys will be out there for the first 20 minutes and they'll be running. And it's a real huge emphasis for us to be in great shape so that we can play at the pace that which we want to play this year.
Hubert, to go off of that a little bit, obviously you have now, as you mentioned, Ian Jackson joining, Cadeau and R.J. Davis and Seth Trimble in that backcourt. How do you see with him and his skill set kind of fitting into, not only, I guess, that dynamic of guards, but obviously, what you all are looking to do from an offensive standpoint?
In regards to Ian and Drake, or just
Ian Jackson.
yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, he's gifted, and his ability in the open court to do a number of different things is it's real. The speed and athleticism, being able to attack the basket, shoot from three. He's always loved to play in an up-tempo style, pace, and it's one of the many reasons why I think he decided to come here. So he's going to fit in great out there on the floor with Elliott and Drake and Seth and RJ, and all those guys will be on the floor a lot at the same time.
Hubert, with Seth entering initially his name into the transfer portal, then coming back out a few weeks later, can you just walk us through what those few weeks were like with you and Seth and the process of bringing him back in?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the year, it's obviously different than when I was in school. Every kid, at the end of the year evaluates, and, there's decisions in terms of going to the NBA or the transfer portal. And I will say this, I'm so thankful and honored and excited that Seth decided to come back. He's an unbelievable kid. a joy to be around, a joy to coach, and the progression that he has made every year is exactly what you want to see as a coach and exactly what you want to see in as a player. And so just so thankful that Seth decided to come back, and there was no process. I never wanted him to go into the transfer portal. I wanted him to be here always.
Coach Davis, how would you assess Elliot Cadeau and his progression? He's in year 2 now. What
Yeah.
have you seen from him these past couple of months?
Yeah, no, I mean it's his progression has been huge, but I would say specifically in 2 areas. You know, one, I mean, it's just his, he's just knocking down shots all over the place, and just the confidence as a result of the hard work that has been put in this summer. He's a guy that lives in the gym, wants to get better, and not just for himself. He really wants to get better to be able for our team to be better. And so he's always thinking about team. And then just his overall leadership is just off the chart. I mean, the way that he holds himself accountable, but the other players, the encouragement that he gives his teammates. One of the things that we like what I love is the progression of going from your freshman to sophomore to junior. And, you don't, because of going to the NBA and because of the transfer portal, sometimes you don't get to see or experience that. And that's really one of the cool things, to see the difference of Elliot as a sophomore compared to a freshman. It's really neat.
You
Talk
were
a
with,
bit about his progression of the game, kind of outside of like internationally and students, stuff like that. He had this team Cadeau and everything, growing the game.
Yeah, how good are they?
I'm not sure.
The AAU team, right?
Looking,
Yeah.
like he's being a leader off the court as well
Yeah.
as growing the game of basketball. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it is. That's an example of just giving back, getting out in the communities. Also did 2 camps at Hargrave Community Center, which is a community center that serves the Chapel Hill community that specifically serves African American, Hispanic communities. And he's done 2 camps there. One of the camps coincided with a backpack drive where he was given supply full backpacks to kids to start the school. And so that's just another example of the growth and him, growing up. And it's been great.
Hubert, just to follow up on, you said he's making shots all over. Is it reps and confidence from the summer that has maybe helped the shot? Is there anything mechanical you guys have done in terms of, especially with shooting with range for Elliot?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both, and just, tightening the screws, in terms of the discipline and details of, shooting and just the fundamentals. But it really is getting in the gym and, just living in the gym, and just like the repetition and just the hours of being able to be put in there just to put yourself in a position to be a consistent shooter. And he has done that. He has been committed to that. But, it's not just shooting from 3. It's, as I told you before, the leadership on the court, off the court. It's again, it's been really good to see.
Hubert, what have you seen from Jalen Washington this offseason?
Yeah.
What do those conversations look like with him as he goes into that upperclassman role?
Yeah, I mean those conversations have, and his growth has it's been fun to watch as well. He's this whole summer, his first year was really rehab. And the last couple of summers, and specifically this summer, was, working on his game. And, he's gotten bigger, he's gotten stronger, he's gotten more athletic, he's gotten more confident. We need him to have a big year. He's been our best rebounder, our best screener, our best big in shape, running the floor, shoot the ball extremely well from the outside. Does a really good job in space, off of rolls, off of ball screens, DHOs, being able to finish around the basket and attacking offensive glass. And that's what we need. And we need him to do that consistently. And As well as he's doing that, he is a better kid. He's adorable. And he's just, I know he's 6'11", but he's just, I love him to death. He's pretty cool to be able to coach him every day.
How do you balance that adorable side with what you want to see from him?
Well, yeah. Then when I get on the court, it's, let's go. Okay. You know me. As soon as you cross the line, like it's time to go. And so, I don't want him to be adorable out there on the floor. I want him to be, getting every rebound, running the floor, dunking on everybody. But he's put himself in a position to have a chance to be a major contributor this year, and it's because of his hard work and dedication, and he's well deserving of it.
Do you think he feels any pressure to step into a more prominent role with Baycott gone?
No, I think all these guys are excited about the opportunity of getting more minutes and playing a bigger role. This is why you come to Carolinas, because you want to be on the biggest stage and at the highest level and have an opportunity to be able to contribute. And so I don't think any of our guys get nervous or shy away from that. I think they do the exact opposite. I think they step towards it.
Hubert, it worked out for you last year when you put a 6'7" guy at the 4 in Harrison Ingram, the small ball 4. Will you do that with Cade Tyson? Does he have that sort of appetite that Harrison Ingram had? Like, do you see him more as a 4 or a 3? Like, what do you think there?
Well, that's a possibility. The thing that one of the many things that I do like about this team is, the versatility of what this team in terms of lineups can look like. Again, I don't compare players. I don't let's get another Armando or let's get another Harrison. Harrison was Harrison, Armando was Armando. I know what you're saying. But yes, it could be. Cade at Belmont played a number of different positions, and I've said this before, that's what I recruit and that's what I coach. It is positionless. I want guys to be able to make impact plays in many different areas on both ends of the floor. So Cade at the 4, that's a possibility that could be out there on the floor. Drake at the 4, that's a possibility that could be out there on the floor. That's something that I really like about this team, is that we could go big, we could go small, and I feel really good about that as long as we can rebound. That's the key.
Can I go? In the history of Carolina basketball, or the history that a lot of us used to covering, it's unusual to have a position and to recruit 3 or 4 guys for that and not get any of them. Can you talk about how NIL factored into that?
How do you know we didn't get any of them?
Well, from everybody here, right?
No, I know that, but I don't remember. And I love all of you guys, but I don't remember any of you guys in coaches' meetings.
And I'm not trying to be a smartass.
No, I'm not either.
Yeah. The guys that have been listed on the top 5 coming in to visit and so forth, you didn't get any of those 4, and they went to Kansas State and Kentucky and Arkansas and so forth. Can you talk about how NIL played into that?
Well, I can tell that we had 3 guys come in on official visits in the summer, and we got 2 of them.
You're dodging my question.
No, I'm not.
I'm talking about the 6'10" guys, the 6'9" guys, 6'10" guys who have.
I don't know who you're talking about. I don't read Twitter.
Okay, so in a general sense, how did NIL play into your recruiting this year, since it's new?
NIL isn't new. And since I've become head coach, it's been the explosion of NIL. It's been the involvement of the transfer portal. It's the extra COVID year on the backside of a pandemic. NIL is a part of college basketball. I've always said that I like NIL. I feel like all of our guys, as opposed to when I was in school, their name, image, and likeness has been used everywhere, and they deserve to be compensated for it.
Okay, if I were to guess, let me just guess, okay, that 3 or 4 of the big guys that you recruited, they went somewhere else because they got more NIL money. Would that be an improper guess?
I'm not a hypothetical guy, and that's why I said that 3 guys came on official visits and 2 of them committed. is because I'm talking about facts. I don't answer and I don't talk in hypothetical situations.
Well, you know,
Let's move on.
Hubert,
Andrew, go ahead.
Jalen Withers was pretty open last year about how it took him a while to be comfortable here in
Yeah.
a variety of ways. And he said later in the year he was getting comfortable, and it showed on the court.
Yeah.
What have you seen, how have you seen that carry over in the offseason up to now?
Yeah, I mean, just the consistency of stacking days, understanding the importance of discipline and details of, and what I mean by that is just, I always talk about making routine plays routinely and understanding that the little things are what makes big things happen, like talking on defense, boxing out, attacking the offensive glass, and making the easy play on the offensive end, knocking down free throws, different stuff like that. And so, from the first year to this year with Jay Witt, I've seen growth in terms of stacking consistently more of those days. And it's been really fun to see. He's playing at a really high level right now.
Hubert, have you ever had the chance to coach your kids in anything before?
No. Well, I coach them in life. I'm their dad.
What's the dynamic though been like when you've had fathers and sons on the same team?
There hasn't been any dynamic. I mean, Coach Lebo obviously had Creighton Lebo, and now I have my son Elijah, and he's my son that happens to be on the team this year.
We haven't talked about Drake Powell yet specifically. You've had a lot of chances to, drive out and see him play. He's pretty close.
Yeah.
What's impressed you the most that you've seen from him this summer?
Just a number of things. Just his, for a guy to be as talented as he is equally and probably even more humble. Just enjoys and loves being a part of a team. His athleticism and length, from a defensive standpoint, is just off the chart. And as was talking about making impact plays on a number of different areas, he's somebody that checks boxes all over the place. And so, when you bring that type of level of player here, but brings in a team first, humble attitude, that's something that you always want. And I'm so glad that Drake is here.
Hubert, with the group of transfers you brought in last season, Harrison, Cormac, Pax, those guys, you talked about how they were coming from teams that maybe they didn't have the type of seasons that those teams had wanted. Do you feel the same way about this group of transfers that you brought in this year with Cade, Van Allen, and Ty Clark?
That they would have the same.
That they would have the same sense of urgency that you talked about coming from teams that maybe hadn't had the type of season that they had wanted.
Well, I want everybody to have a sense of urgency. I think that's the only way that you can play. And that sense of urgency is not just in games, it's in practice, it's in individual workouts, it's in the weight room, a sense of urgency of being the best that you can be and try to tap out everything that you can from a day-to-day basis. And so I talk at great length to the team about having a hunger and thirst to be the best that you can be individually and as a team. And that's something that's just an expectation, not just for the transfers, but for everybody.
Got time for about 3 more.
Specifically with Cade, he was the first guys that you guys signed out of the portal this summer. What was it that was attractive to you about him when you were looking for just options to replenish the unit, and just sort of take us through, what it was that actually convinced him that this was the best place for him?
Yeah, I always say like basketball player, and it's just like really basic, but it is. Obviously he has an ability to really shoot the ball. I mean, 46% from 3 is real. So I like that. His size, his ability in the offensive end to move without the basketball, cuts. He can handle it, attack the offensive glass, and he's learning that more and more every practice. And with his size, the versatility that he can give from a defensive standpoint in terms of rebounding, and it's 6'7", 6'8". That's great length to have on the wing or in regards to maybe a small ball. And so his ability to make impact plays on both ends of the floor, with his ability to shoot. He's a basketball player, and it was something that I really wanted here.
Just like follow up, was his brother involved in the process? I mean, obviously you.
No, he wasn't.
Very familiar with him.
No. I take Hunter too. He was pretty good, but no, his brother was not involved in the process at all. But I'm a huge fan of his brother. The growth that he made throughout his college career. I never liked playing against him. But for him, it's through hard work that he's in a position with the Denver Nuggets right now. And in terms of the work ethic, it's the same thing with Cade.
I was gonna ask, just in the next few months, they're gonna decide whether to fully renovate this place or build a new place. Just what are your thoughts on that? What side would you?
You guys are throwing fastballs on the first day here. Man. You guys are.
Your program pretty serious now.
No, I will say this. I love every day walking into this building and it says the Dean Smith Center. I love that. And that's all I'll say.
Looking at RJ, what are some ways that you kind of see him acting as that leadership in practice and outside of practice?
Well, obviously on the court, one of the things that I always tell the guys is I want them to be leaders, but I want them to be leaders within their own personality. And, RJ's not the rah-rah, loud type of personality guy. He's gotten better with that and more of that every year. So he continues to do that. But in terms of the leadership by example, it's off the chart. The way that he prepares, the way that he practices, the way that he puts himself in a position every play during practice to be the best that he can be. I can't think of a better example to watch than him. And then off the court, his ability, like I call him like a connector, a gatherer, from the standpoint like he connects and gathers the entire team. And so it could be really easy as a fifth-year senior to say, you know what, Drake and Ian and, JB, they're freshmen. I'm going to be over here. No, he's with them. He's taking them out to breakfast. He's taking them out to lunch. Then Seth and all of them are together, and it's really because of him. And so I just, his impact off the court in building team is really important to him. And it's even more important to him that this is his last year.
Last one, Adam.
Hubert, obviously I know the game out in, the blue-white game out in Cherokee is moving back here for understandable reasons, but I wanted to just ask you the idea of that coming to fruition and what made that a thing you guys wanted to do. It seems like this is the next step in this whole NIL space. Like, what was it that you liked about it? I'm assuming you'll do more of it. Like, just can you sort of paint that picture for us?
Yeah, I think the idea of, a long time ago when I was in school, after the season, we would do barnstorming. And so we would go play games all around the state. And the reason why we would do it is not everybody had an opportunity to come to the Smith Center. And so why not do that in the preseason? It gives us an opportunity to travel around the state and for North Carolina fans to be able to see us that can't make all the way down here in the Smith Center, and gives us an opportunity to compete and play in front of people. And I think that's always good for us. And so, yes, it's something that we tried to do, and we'll do it here next Saturday, but it's something that we'll do in the future moving forward.
Thanks, everybody.